That's black and white. Good morning.
Good morning.
Ready to start. A little late, sorry, Richard. Meeting called to order. We'll have a pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Molly Quinn here.
Dan Lance here. Richard Boselli here.
Cynthia Fagan-Perry here.
Fred Grulinski here. Maureen Baker here.
Maureen Jensen here.
There's a quorum. Everybody's here. Safety instructions. Exit. Exit. Don't run over each other on your way out. Agenda. First thing we're going to do is look at the minutes, but I think we're just getting them. And so what we're going to do is table, recommend we table the minutes.
Motion to table.
And so everybody will have a chance to read them. And on May 19th meeting, which is the next meeting, we're going to be all caught up with all the minutes. I believe we did look into this. If anybody has any they know of missed.
I'll second that.
Nothing missed, but comment on the ones for, if Gail could get the tape recordings, I'll tell you which ones need adjusting. The March 19th minutes, they're very skippy. And there was a lot of activity that day and a lot of questions were asked.
Okay.
So if you can get the tape and redo those, I don't have a problem with the rest of them.
Okay.
Do you have any notes from those nights? That day? You usually take some.
I usually do, I can't find my notes for that day, but I know that day was a very boisterous
Okay.
day. A lot of questions were asked.
Okay.
And it's not reflected in the minutes at all.
Okay, so we'll look
All
into
it
those.
says is there was discussion. Not who asked what questions, nothing. And I think that needs to be addressed.
Okay. We'll look into that. Gail, if you would please look into the recording.
Thank you, Gary.
But we'll be doing that on May 19th, so we'll approve the minutes. And then at that point, we should be caught up. If anyone knows of any that we missed during the whole meeting change, please let us know so we can get those found and make sure we act. But I think that brings them all up. New business. Okay, wait a minute. Table it. You mentioned Richard Pacelli seconded. All in favor of tabling these till the May 19th meeting?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so Tax Collector's Office. What we want to bring up is the review and approve, and Gail has the changes that we're recommending and working on, and for the board to understand our idea is to bring it all together so we can start having a cohesive unit of all the people in one place for all our operations, so that it's not spread out. We don't know who's working what day, who isn't, and whether the place is open or closed. This way we'll bring it all into one place for now so we can get things going. She's going to explain what our recommendations are for inside and outside changes. And of course, always remember, we're still collecting for people who feel at all inconvenienced. We still can pay our taxes either by mail or at Bank Newport. They have drive-in windows, they have everything you possibly imagine. So there will be ample opportunity for people who want to pay their taxes to find a place that's convenient and available to meet their needs.
Well,
Yeah,
I
would you please do that?
have questions on that too.
Sure. She's going to describe what our plans are and what the plans were to make changes.
Okay, so the idea is to, in the month of May, to make these physical changes so that by June 1st, which is when we had told the town that we would be vacating the premises, that we would be able to vacate the premises and have the tax collection along with all administration at 240 Arnold Road. Obviously, the first consideration is parking and getting to 240 Arnold Road. As you know, it's a little bit right now, the way the cars are, it's not conducive to having many visitors there. So the first thing would be we would move all employees would be parking behind. That would open up that whole front area. The first proposal is to pave the entire front area, and then to mark it. And when you're paving it 2 inches, so that would actually bring it level with the door. So there would be complete ADA compliance. We would have 7 spots. One of them would be the handicap right next to the spot, and the cars would be they would be parking facing the building. So not that kind of weird parallel parking that we have now.
So they'll be backing out onto Honor Row?
No, just
Not really, because they can back up right inside. There's enough room to pull to the building and back right in that parking lot and out front.
So the curb cut, to explain, the curb cut that would go away, so that whole area would go into the road. So there
So
would,
then no curbing?
no, that's part of the proposal, to make this feasible so that you could have 7 cars easily and safely. Obviously, safety is the #1 consideration. So that you could have 7 cars easily and safely be able to move in that area. And that's why we did the measurements, and it is only 7 cars. If we wanted to do more, it would cost a lot more, because then you get into that grassy bit on the left. But we thought 7 for now, because this is a temporary solution. We don't want to spend a lot of money on it. Yeah, the curb would be eliminated, so that whole place that allows that maneuverability, so you're not stuck in those two entryways right now. And like I said, it would be so the total square foot would be 2,700 square feet in the parking, but then also in front of the bays would be another additional 1,800 square feet. So for 7 spaces, including 1 handicap or disability space, it is enough, and it would be safe. The cost of the cost is $9,950, so slightly under $10,000, and the contractors are RT Nunes and Sons.
Okay.
Then you go out for bid, right?
Yeah, because it's under the state purchasing guidelines, emergency procurements, and small purchases. Small purchases is anything under 10,000. This one actually gets a little bit under 10,000. But because it's also considered an emergency procurement, because we only have a month to get this done. And one of the things we're looking for contractors, were they available to get this work done in the next month? Because as you know, it's spring, this is the season when there's a lot of construction, a lot of repavement. Just to be able to fit in and get this project done was a big consideration. And Mr. Nunes was able to do so.
Originally, we kind of looked at, which would have been less money, just doing in front of the tax office and then leaving where the trucks go out, and that would just not make sense. That'd be safety, all the bumps and all of that. So this kind of takes care of that whole front. The whole front, makes it compliant, makes it safer, makes it better for everybody, including the lines and everything like that. So
Because
a
as you
lot
know,
was
right
put
now,
into
yeah, as you know, right now, there are several, I don't know,
Gullies.
Ruts and
gullies
stuff, yeah.
almost. And so this would straighten out all of that. So even in the future, it's just safer, and it actually would add to the value of the building if we were to dispose of it.
Yep.
So
What
that's,
about the inside?
okay.
Okay, that's next.
That's,
Okay.
How about if we, do you want to save it all till the end?
I think we should.
We should save it till the end. They're individual motions, by the way. The exterior is one. then
No,
there's
yeah, they're
different
individual contracts, but not individual motions, the way we
Right.
put it on the
Okay.
agenda is as a whole.
things. Okay.
Okay, so the second one, we've done the outside, it's
Yeah.
safe, and so going inside, we need a little bit of demolition work. I don't know if you're all familiar with how when you go in there right now. When you go in there right now, there's, I think there's a receptionist. And that would not be very conducive to having taxpayers come, because it's just, you're in and then there's right in front of you a desk. So the way this would work is that reception desk would be eliminated. And that would open up that whole area as a reception area. So there would be seats, we have chairs, nice chairs there. There would be a writing table so that people could, if they needed to write or fill out forms, they could fill out forms. And then to open up the area, there's a movement of doors, and to open up the area to your left, that would be the administration part. including opening up. Right now, you have two offices. You have kind of the administration office and the chief's office. We would be opening up that administration office so it's more visible, so that no matter whatever taxpayer comes and whatever they need, many people can see them, and they will be, nobody's behind doors. So everybody's expected to get up, no matter who they are, and assist the taxpayer. So, and also, we need at least 2 more desks in that space for the tax collection. So there would be, and that space would open up, so there would be four administrators, the 2 part-time tax collectors, the clerk, myself, and we would be available and visible for all taxpayers. And again, we'd be open longer. But so this second quote is from Don Pellicci at Rhode Island Construction and Design.
How do you spell that name?
P-A-L-L-E-S-C-H-I. And the company's called Rhode Island Construction Design, and I'll just read what the description is. Removal of office wall to open hallway, approximately 10 by 8 feet. So that would be opening up the administrative office right now, so that allowed the visibility. Remove door and relocate right side of wall, stud and sheetrock, patch and paint. Right now, there's a door on your right, and that's to go into the bunk room. That door needs to be removed because we're going to have to put a desk there, and you don't want people exiting into the administration area from the bunk room. Remove counter, replace wood door with 3-foot metal door, basic key code auto lock. So that's that counter in the front, removing it, and then the door that goes into the day room will be replaced with a metal door with a basic key code auto lock to secure that area. Paint walls to match area. And the last one is a 6x12 tile floor insulation material. That was the thought that when you move that countertop, there would be damage to the floor. But we actually believe that the countertop was built on top of the floor, and when you remove it, actually, we can just clean the floor, and that this item would come off, but we don't know yet. So all those things come up, which might be a little bit less, but right now the quote is $5,650. Yeah, that's a lot of good deconstruction.
There's no main bearing walls that you're
There's
messing with?
actually not one wall in there. The way the building's constructed, not one is a load-bearing wall. You could do anything.
So you take,
Because that building's been remodeled and
Yes.
worked on several times.
Yes, it is.
the,
That's why I want to make sure it's not
No, they checked that. We had a couple people check that.
We had 2 contractors check it.
the 2 beds that are in that room that you're taking out for the firefighters when they're sleeping there, where are they going?
Okay, we're not taking out those beds. We're taking that door.
Okay.
You know how when you go in, there's that door to the right that goes into the bunk room?
Yeah.
You can cut right across.
Yeah,
That door is actually being taken out, patched up,
Yeah.
and it's being moved that it would enter into the waiting area of the taxpayer. Because the door is used at night when they're sleeping. So they sleep, they get a call, they run from they get up, and it makes more sense that they go through the customer waiting area, taxpayer waiting area into the day room or straight across. Because customers won't be there at 3 in the morning. If you are, then you've got a problem. So I'm hoping no one wants to pay their taxes at 3:30 in the morning. But so that was the idea. So that actually so it frees up that administration area to just be administration and serving the taxpayers. And meanwhile, at night, when taxpayers aren't there, and administrators frankly aren't there, they're actually faster able to access the emergency vehicles by moving that door. And that's in this proposal.
So this sort of lets us keep the tax office in town, and then we're also saving $700 a month by not paying it so many years, so you're gonna get back all the money you saved anyways. Okay.
So once you do that kind of demolition work, then you have to add a couple things. One is a service counter. It's very important. So the service counter would be, because you have to service the taxpayer, so you have that now, that waiting area, and you'll have that service counter that will look into, so when a person comes in, they will just look to, they'll have this nice waiting area where they can do things, but right to their left would be the service counter, and that's where it would have to be hinged so that the administrators can get through, but it also has to be conducive to have a computer on it, to be able to take the CAC, to have different forms, so it has to be custom built. So it's another proposal with Chance Industries. Fabricate and install hinged laminate counter with open back and storage cabinets for everything that needs to happen to be able to easily take tax collections and resolve all these things. And that would be $2,300. Again, it's specially constructed. And the second thing with the Chance Industries is, we're bringing some women up into the fire station. I don't know if anyone's ever checked out the restroom. It's a little bad. It's fine if it was just me, but now that you have 4 women in there, it does need some.
I think it goes beyond that, Gail. I mean, women are getting into the fire service. We don't know if we're going to have women firefighters, so the point is we need to make it compliant, period.
We need to make it compliant, and also, it's pretty bad. So the next is to a renovation of that ladies' room, new toilet, vanity. We were able to find kind of a scrap of a granite top, sink, faucet, the entry lock, new accessories, everything. It needs to basically be gutted, and besides the shower in there.
Handicap door?
Handicap door, yeah, right now, the door, I mean, it's a workout. I don't know if anyone's tried to get in there, but it's one of these big, huge metal doors, and it's bad. Yes, unique.
Yeah, the big water bottle to keep it closed.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So that's about $3,500. So definitely much needed. And the good news about all of this is that, so it's Don and Lou. So Don would start on May 9th, but Lou would start, because he can do he can do this without Don, so he would actually start on Monday. So all of these things would come together for our June 1st kind of grand opening and movement to the station.
Sounds good. I mean, I know you put a lot of work into it, making sure we get this, not only compliant, but like the restrooms and the rest, just getting things so that they're usable and people friendly. With that, you've got it set up as we can do it as one motion.
Questions?
Questions? I thought you were asking. Okay, go ahead.
No, I still have a couple more. Were any of the other stations looked at? We've got 3 vacant ones, and I think the one on Hill Farm Road would have been less expensive to spruce up.
I'd like to address that.
Only the
I'd like to
fire
address that
marshal and the,
I'd like to address that part. Is that one thing we didn't want? We thought about it. We looked around. Is we didn't really want to put cash out there with people all alone. At least the town hall, the police are right nearby. People bring in a lot of cash. I thought that was, we all did. We thought that was pretty lonely out there, isolated, not necessarily good. It would have to be cleaned up, but you would have to then bring in, you would have to start heating it and maintaining it. So it really is bringing in a whole nother overhead operation.
And
Heat, air conditioning, electricity, maintenance, plowing, everything. So
well, we still have to maintain it whether we're in the building or not.
we're not heating it. We're not. We got everything mothballed. Everything's mothballed there.
Yeah. So one of the thoughts is, so the tax collection, there's 2 things that are right now currently at the annex. And to answer your questions, yes, I myself looked at Washington. I looked at other stations to see what would be the most feasible. So after doing that, there's 2 things at the annex right now. There's tax collection and also fire marshal.
Yeah, that's why I said put the 2 at the.
So this is the decision about the tax collection. Okay, so tax collection, and to be, again, to better service anyone, we're all trained and cross-trained to take tax collection. So in other words, having us all in one place, that means we can cover, we can keep costs down, so you're not, during high periods, everybody's working with tax collections, low periods, maybe we don't need the part-time tax collectors, so in terms of tax collection, it really makes sense, at least temporarily, to keep us all together, working together, getting trained together, that kind of thing. In terms of fire marshal, that's another discussion. And right now, the idea is that fire marshal is not coming up to 240 on the road, because now we don't have room for that, because you need room. And that's a subsequent discussion. It could be going to Hill Farm, but that's, the chief isn't here, he has some ideas, and that would probably come at a later meeting. The next meeting, I think that would be addressed.
He used to be out of Flat River too, and I think there's still an office there for them.
There is.
So we could actually put them in.
That would be another discussion. I
Yeah,
think,
that's a
with the
May
chief's
19th,
here.
will be an agenda item. When the chief's here, he can definitely,
Plus, it brings everybody together. We all know we had problems down at the tax office. We don't have to go into them, but we know we need some controls, and by bringing it all in, we'll have some controls. So I give my opinion, I think this was an automatic, one of the first things as we start building things up. Any other questions on it?
I had talked to the chief about Washington, and we both agreed if we want to pay this amount, or somewhere in the vicinity of $300,000 to $500,000 to make that thing livable
Yeah.
for everybody
Well,
at the same time. And he
for
said
right
it's
now,
not,
that-
it's not feasible.
Yeah, that's a
No,
major,
it's not
that's a major
feasible.
project down the road.
Right.
We've got a short-term thing to fix.
And that has to
But I
be
just
sewered as
like
well.
I agree with him. I don't like the idea of those two young ladies who work in the tax collector now going up to Hill Farm by themselves and being out there. And as he said, they're coming in with cash, they're coming in with money, and they're coming in
And
with...
some are coming in angry.
And some of them are coming in mean.
Let's
So
face
the
it,
last thing they want is get robbed up there and,
or just
and be
verbally
harassed.
assaulted. You've seen it, so. Yeah. Thanks, Dan. I couldn't agree more. Yes?
Has anybody figured out what the payback is on doing this construction? Like, we're paying $700,000 to the town. So basically,
I think it would be cheaper.
payback, so it makes
okay.
a lot of sense if we get out of the town annex, save that money, and so basically, you're gonna pay for the construction by what you're saving
In rent.
in
At the
rent.
town.
Correct. It solves a lot of things. One of the things is we have to fix this place anyway. Like Ginny was working there when the ladies' room there is just plain non-functional. I mean, you have to have that. Again, as we said, women firefighters are coming in various departments. We're going to have to bring up the code anyway. So we have to do that. But also bringing people in together so you have everyone working together. There's a lot of things besides financial here for bringing it together. We had no control over the tax collector's office down in town. We didn't know when they were open, when they were closed, whether she was in that day, whether she wasn't. We need to have one place. As Gail said, the cross-training, if someone is out sick that day, there's other people in there who can take a payment. So it just starts bringing some controls into this operation, which we all know have been missing for a long time. So there's a lot of things. Financial payback is definitely out. We looked at
22 months.
So everything combined, this just makes a lot of business sense for us. That's how we felt. So thank you. I agree with your comments. Anything else?
Anytime that I've ever gone into that tax collector's office, there's always been at least 2 people in there, and sometimes 3.
Correct.
So I don't know where you're getting at. There was nobody there on certain days. The days they weren't there was holidays.
Jane shut down, not Jane, Jane is, Pam would shut down on some days that there weren't our holidays.
Yeah, we'll just,
And
we'll just leave it at that.
Let's
Let's just leave it as a general statement.
Yeah.
If you want to get
It's just
specific, I
easier
will.
to cover shifts, that's all.
With that said,
Wait a minute,
go ahead.
I got another question.
Sure,
Why are we cutting down the amount of days that we're collecting the taxes?
because we don't need it open that much. There isn't that much traffic other than right after the payments.
I brought stack of bills that I've paid over the years, and they weren't, the hours were not 8 hours a day. They were 4-hour blocks of hours to go pay your taxes on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, Friday.
Mhm.
Wednesdays was always off, and that's been that way for the last 40 years.
Mhm.
why cut down Mondays? It only doubles up the work from Friday when they leave until Tuesday when they come in. I think it aggravates the taxpayers, because I've heard and had phone calls that they're getting very aggravated, not being able to go in on a Monday to pay.
Right now, Cindy, the people you're gonna get a call from are gonna be angry anyway, because the only people coming in to pay right now are the people who are being sent for tax sale. Okay?
Well, that's the other thing that's going on.
Let's take a little thing here. The people you're gonna get a call from now, they're mad. Anyway, so that's number one. Number two is there isn't enough traffic to really, we don't need to have, actually the other districts, I don't even think they have any posted hours. Yes, people can go to Bank Newport. We are in a situation now, we're still bankrupt, we're still financially in trouble. There's wants and there's needs. We have them in our personal life, and we have them here. We need to be able to collect the taxes. We need to be able to send out rescue trucks. We need to be able to provide basic services first. That's the rescue trucks.
Yes.
Then we need to be able to collect taxes. Wants are whether people would want to go there, or if it's really important they pay today, they could go to Bank Newport, they can put a stamp on it, they can drop it in the box, where you just drop it in and leave it, and people put it in the next day it's open. We kind of have to deal with our needs right now, and if we can save some money focusing on needs, and maybe little wants are just a little bit, we have to ting a little, you know, that may be what we're going to have to look at. Maybe down the road, as Gail said, when we get into Arnold Road and there's people in cross-trained, we could be open every day. It would be very easy, because there'll be people who are cross-trained and can get up and go answer that. But right now, we're kind of in a transition, and don't forget, we haven't even been here a year yet. We expect to have a very good report to give out in September. I'm telling you, I think things are going to be, when we get all this together, that's our focus. When we have that meeting in September, which will only be an 11-month anniversary to when we started taking over, we're going to have a lot of really good news to bring to the people. This is just one of the steps to get us to where we want to be. And I think it'll be a big help. Yes, sir.
How is the public going to know that there's an alternative with Bank Newport?
It's on the bills. And we're actually using it in the bigger print this time. The last bill, it wasn't that big, but you made the print bigger, right?
One of the things that I was going to say was we've redone the bill, so that now instead of saying pay your bill at, you know, at the annex address, it's going to come out saying to pay it at the Bank of Newport. Because we're really trying to push people to use the bank, because that way they can deposit immediately right into our bank account. We have less people touching the money that you're getting in. Just like the town uses Central, we're going to use Bank of Newport. We have an agreement up with them. It's less transportation of the money from the office for the risk of the girl taking the money to the bank. So we're trying to get for people to go to the bank. That it'll be really on the bill, and it's going to be.
That's a good idea. I just didn't want to see it be like today's meeting. No one knew about it.
Right.
We have less than 10 people here, 2 of them I think are reporters. And if it wasn't for some kind soul
Yes.
mentioning it
Yes.
on Facebook, we wouldn't be here.
Well, we're actually working with the media. I did tell Kendra, it was mentioned in one of the articles in the Kent County Times, and we will get that pushed out there again. And we're going to work on being better. Those are all the things that we want to do. When we first got involved, we want to be more open, available to people, letting them know, develop an email list. That's part of why Gail was brought in. We needed management resources. Most of us work full-time or different things and put a lot of time in. But we do want to go where you're saying, get people set up on that email list or maybe a Facebook page. And, you know, we finally just took over our web page. In the last couple of weeks, we're finally getting into that and updating it. Marie's been doing that and working with the chief on getting our web page back, because that used to be controlled by others. And so now we've got that going, so we'll be able to update it. So there's a lot of things in the hopper, and I agree with you. That's the stuff. We want people to be here.
I'm painting signs.
Hopefully somebody will bring me a coffee and a donut next time.
Well, hopefully it'll be a night meeting like they're supposed to be, instead of these.
Except for you called
Hurry
in
up
sick, and she
meetings
called
on
in sick,
Saturday.
so we couldn't.
Yeah, we couldn't have that meeting because everybody we were sick and I was out of town.
It wasn't because we didn't try to hold it,
So
we did.
We did need to get this done. This was a housekeeping meeting pretty much. We needed to get these things done, passed, discussed. So sometimes we have to do a little bob and weave, and I think we all agreed that's what we signed up for. So that's why this meeting was held today. We would have preferred to have gotten this done before. Did we answer your question? I'm sorry.
I did. I was just wondering, are you required to notify the newspapers or to post notices
Yes.
in X number of places throughout the town instead of just leaving it on happenstance if somebody happened to look at the,
Gail,
tell us
we do it with the Secretary of State's office. If you have email, by the way, you set up, I get automatically notified.
Yeah.
And so if more people get set up, that is awesome. That we have to do, except for the annual meeting, we don't have to. The annual budget meeting, but we did do it anyway. But the annual budget meeting, technically, we don't have to do that at the Secretary of State's office, but we do. But we do have to put the other ones in the paper. Gail can better explain this.
Yeah, so there's a lot of rules, and we're all about being in compliance with the rules, and then also, again, making it easy for tax collecting, and then making it easier to know about these meetings and to actually attend. So with the tax collecting, just one last thing, if everything that's been said is correct. But as of June 1st, again, it's all at 240 Arnold Road. So if there are any questions, we're open administratively 5 days a week from, say, 9 to 5 or whatever it is. Even the chief is there even earlier. So if someone walks in at 7 o'clock, someone's going to talk to them. And we can talk about different hours. If there's better to be late, open late at night on one of the days, we can accommodate that. But these are all things that we're trying to get to. It just takes maybe a month or two to get there. And in terms of being in compliance with Open Meetings Act, we are working to be in complete compliance with everything. But any ideas on how to better in this community put the message out, whether it's in the libraries or where are the places that you'd like it to be posted, we'll post there. We right now post the agendas on the stations. They're on the Secretary websites that the meetings are happening. There's a 48-hour meeting notification notices requirement. But if there's any ideas of where you would like to see, besides an email list or anything like that,
We advertise, right now, I think for this meeting, we've been advertising at the Coventry Reminder and 2 newspapers.
Oh, that's for the
That's
annual
budget
budget meeting.
meeting.
That's
Right,
for
that's
budget
budget
meetings.
meetings.
That's for the
That's
budget meetings.
Right.
But anything that's we are here to make this better for everybody. Anyone has an idea, we are going to comply. So
On the
if it's-
bill, I have also printed that our meetings will be held
The
every
annual,
third.
and
No,
the
our annual month,
the monthly.
our monthly meetings, on the bill, it says our monthly meetings are held third Thursday every month. But I didn't put the annex because I wasn't sure, but at least if they, or I can even add the SOS website on it, to the bill. I'll see if I can get that added.
It's going to be like...
Are the bills already printed?
No.
I can't until we approve
Oh.
the rate on the 5th. They're all set up to go, but I still can make a couple of type changes.
Adjustments.
Yeah.
Of course, the hard part is we keep writing more stuff on the bill. None of us will be able to squint enough to read it.
Well, I'm trying to make it bigger,
Are they putting a Dropbox on the outside of the building?
That's a great idea, we can do that.
Well, they
Yeah,
have it now in the annex, so
Right.
they should have one at
Do
the
they have one
station.
on, you'll have one on the inside?
We will
right?
have one,
On the inside also?
on the inside also and on the outside.
The counter will be available, so theoretically, any taxpayer could walk in 24/7 and drop it in the box.
They didn't put it on the inside. because
No,
these
put it on the
people
inside,
drop-
no.
No, I mean, just
No,
literally.
we put it on the inside. I don't know, and that way people don't want to wait in line, they can throw it in the box.
Right.
That would be the biggest use for it,
The station is open 24/7.
Right, they can just walk in the
And then
waiting
having
room, it's
that
closed.
door there, the only problem is, right now, we do close the administrative part after administrative hours, but it's something definitely to discuss. We have another meeting on the 19th. We can make sure that all these little...
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure the Dropbox was there, so that someone could still go up to the door and drop it.
Absolutely.
Any other questions on this?
Do we have a total amount of what we're spending on these
Mhm.
renovations?
Yes, so, it's slightly under $20,000,
Yeah.
about $20,000.
It's 19 and some change. I know when you mentioned it to me, you had the exact numbers. Just
Yeah.
under 20,000. Let me see, 99, 56, 22, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19,000, 19,000. It's 99.50, 56.50, and what's the other one, 22?
I'll
I
just,
think it's 20, I think it's 20.
yeah, one of the jobs is, it might be lower than this, but let me give you the max.
That's what she, so that's the bathroom, that's the counter, interior.
Oh, I didn't get that one. Okay, the other one.
21.4.
Yeah, 21,460.
Yeah,
But,
I didn't get that
again,
23.
it might be less given that, what happens when you take the floor out. So, but the maximum is 21,460.
Which will take 22 months to repack.
Okay. With that said, a motion to accept, and then of course we can still have a discussion to think of something before we finally vote. Motion to accept the contract
I'll make a motion that we accept the contracts.
and perform the work on the tax collector's office. Okay. We
I
made
have
a
no
motion.
question.
Okay. We second it, and then we'll have some more discussion.
Yeah, I'll second
Maureen seconded it. Any discussion?
it. Discussion on the tax collector. Right now, there are so many desks and equipment in the annex. Is that all going to fit in the area that you're designing?
Obviously,
To me, it doesn't look like it would fit.
right, so obviously, we're only taking, you know, I love moving into new places, even though it's a big pain, because you should only take what you really need, and anything you don't need, what we will dispose of properly.
Sell.
Sell. Director Lance might.
Yeah.
might help us out.
Yeah, we'll sell anything.
So, we will only be taking things that are necessary, because we don't want a lot of clutter. We want to make this a very, very effective and efficient operation. Taxpayers, we want your money, and we want to make it easy for you to pay us. So, and also we want to do it cheaply, so that we only take as much as your money as we need. So reduce cost and reduce tax, that's really the ultimate goal here. But we don't want to clutter up areas. We want people to be able to work and do their jobs without having to
Good question.
run over boxes and that kind of thing.
We will make sure we put decals on it quick, because we see how fast Dan sells stuff. If we don't have it claimed, it'll be on, you know,
Well,
on
that too.
Yeah, so we're very careful with it. Okay, so we've had motion and seconded. All those in favor of proceeding with this work, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Gail, that was excellent. I appreciate all the work you've done in getting that going. This is part of the building process. We'll continue going forward, and I appreciate your help on it. We all do. One part skipped over by mistake. Number one, I went right down. Update from Director Lance on equipment sales.
Last two things I sold was the ambulance number 5, which did not run, had more rust than regular stuff on it, $2,836. And the heavy duty rescue, which did not run and needed a lot of work to get it running, $5,100. That was purchased from a guy locally, John Healy. Where? Which brings the total to $21,158. John Healy was supposed to pick it up by tomorrow. Hopefully it's out of the station by now.
He's working with the chief on that.
Then we can get paid.
Yeah, he's working with the chief on that right now,
Yeah.
I guess. You know, one thing I'd like to just bring out, you know, we've been in this mess a long time, and, you know, kept trying to get the state, the receivers, all the way back to get a rescue. You know, none of us ever said not to get a rescue. We're looking at these 2 rescues that are coming out of service, because we do have the Hopkins Hill one now. It should be ready in a couple weeks. They got to decal it and get it certified by the state or whatever he has to do again.
And re-register.
And re-register it. But in any case, Dan, and I know I did, I don't know if all of you looked at that rescue that he just sold for $2,100.
That they were.
I got to give a lot of credit to our guys for having kept that thing running. I got the holes in the floor, the rust, It was disgusting. None of us would want to go to work and have to get in that thing every day. And I just think it's exemplary. I didn't we all knew they were bad. These things were disgusting. And you look at how much we spent on maintenance in the last 30 years.
$35,000 a year.
And to think, maybe we might make a couple decisions not perfect, but I gotta tell you, the high-priced people we had running this place for the last 3 years didn't do us any favors. Not just biting the bullet and buying a rescue. That thing was terrible. So, Dan, thanks for getting rid of it, because I don't even like seeing it behind the building after knowing it. If any of you had seen it, it was just terrible.
We want new ones, so we've replaced it.
Yeah.
We put this stuff on Gov Deals, and most of the stuff I see sold there for EMTs, at the most, maybe 125,000 miles on it, and they go for about $2,000. This one had 177,534 miles on it. It went up 95 one night with her in the back of it and broke down.
Yeah, I was paying for it.
They had
Broke
to-
down in
They
95.
had to go and get.
That wasn't the only time it broke down. That thing broke down, they had to carry the person the rest of the way on Toll Gate Road. I mean, it's just disgusting. Again, not to go into weeds, everybody wants to get out of here Saturday morning, but I just wanted to just make a comment that there is progress being made. The new rescue is it's only a truck, you still need people, and our people are still working, but for the people to be able to get in a better truck and for our taxpayers, awesome. And now with the Hopkins Hill, we're definitely showing the signs of coming back, fixing the tax office, bringing people all in one building. I just want to show that there's a lot of progress being made. You don't always see it all, but it's getting there. And we even have some money in the bank. So we're paying all our bills, we're paying down debt. I'm going to congratulate everybody here for having done a great job keeping this going. Dan, thank you for selling everything.
Will we have the May 5th meeting as to what has been paid down on the debt?
We actually, Gail's working on that. We'll have it to February 29th. Over that time, we'll have it. And then we'll have another update as we're working on other bills right now. So we can see just, the September will have a whole different thing. As we've been talking with the pension board. We got to meet with them again. We met with Kent County Water. We've got to meet with them again. Centerville Bank, we made our first payment this month of $10,000 a month for the rest of our life. That started this month. And so the first one's made. We'll be making another one in May.
We paid off half that loan.
Yeah, we paid
And
off
the
half
other
the
half
loan
of $500,000 we're making payments on.
of $10,000 a month. So we paid $500,000 and we owe $10,000 a month. So that started. So Gail's been talking with the union about that debt, the $1.4 million in claims and things. So we're working on that. So we'll have some updates. But we do have to February 29th. I think we've already actually kind of penciled one in, but she's going to have a formal one for it. We're going to finalize things on Monday, and so Tuesday, everybody should have. Yeah, Tuesday?
Tuesday, and to answer your question, is yes, I'll have what has been paid to date on claims.
Yeah.
Okay, and any bank statements? Do we know what the final tally is in the banks? And can the board see at least a copy of what's
Yes,
what's
I'll
what?
do
Because we haven't seen anything in quite a while.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you would like, I'll do a little kind of schedule on, as of February 29th, because that's going to be the
Yeah, that's the
reporting
focus
date.
of that
I'll
meeting.
just give you a cash reference, or cash.
And
kind of-
then on our
balance.
next May 19th meeting, we can give you the focus up to now. That way, we
Right.
want to keep the focus of that meeting on the first half, second half budget.
Right.
And then the May 19th, make sure I got it right. Yeah, the May 19th meeting will give you an update right through now, through the end of April.
Right.
Okay? Is
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Okay. And the other thing that Gail's been working on, and I think you're going to see it with Jessica coming forward, we want to have the minutes ahead of time. We want to have our agendas ahead of time. I know, Maureen, you and
By
I
the
talked about
Friday
it.
before,
And, yeah, so we're working, Gail's working on
I've been
it.
asked
Yes.
in that for a
Oh, we've
long
all
time.
wanted it, but Gail's working on that, and that's why bringing the professionalism to the place now, we're able to start doing things. We had a lot of, people say there were a lot of balls in the air, and I disagreed. I said there was a lot of falling swords. We were trying to catch the swords and trying to bob them and miss a few, and some hit us. But now I think we're to a point where we can start doing that, because we all want that. Okay? So, good comment, Cindy. We all want it. We're in agreement with you.
So starting from the 19th, that meeting, the agenda will be posted and distributed to the board Friday
Okay.
at 5.
And see the new, this is a format, Gail made up, nice, formal, so we'll be able to have something like that. You're gonna see more good stuff like this, and thanks for getting those minutes to us too, so that we got those done. Okay? Okay, that brings us down to construction, selection of rescue recovery.
So we did do the,
Where is
where
that?
are we?
For the tax collector's office?
Oh, there it is, I didn't see that, I'm sorry.
So
Okay.
for the tax collectors, number 2, for that, you can do all together,
Okay.
all those 3 points together. We kind of skipped 1 and 2, we went down to 3.
Okay, change in hours, our hours are, by the way, we didn't actually say it out here for the meeting, it's
What are the
Tuesday.
hours?
It's Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, correct? 9 to 4?
Yes, until June 1st, when we make the movement for the next month, it's Tuesday, Thursday, Friday,
From what to what?
9 to 4. Although the office technically opens at 8:30, someone's there by 8:30, and they generally close at 4:30. But in terms of taking tax payments, because obviously at 4, you have to, close up and reconcile the
Right.
books and then bring the money to the bank.
Which brings me to another question concerning tax collectors. Is everybody bonded? That would have been a question for D'Agostino, I believe, to make sure that everybody that's handling the money is bonded.
The tax collector's bonded, and we have the insurance for everybody involved in the office, correct?
Yes.
You want to verify?
But right now, we
That's-
don't have a tax collector.
We're going to have one in a couple of minutes.
Okay?
Okay, and the answer, we can confirm that they're bondable, and then if you want them bonded, that's...
They need to be bonded if they're going to be handling a big deal of money. And it
Yes.
says it in our bylaws and charter.
Yeah, we need to find out about our errors and omissions, whether it covers other employees handling cash. I think it does, but I'm not sure.
So under my, if it's myself and Jessica, or anyone under my company, that's not the D&O policy, but it's employment practices liability coverage. So I am covered, and all the people that work for my company are covered under that policy.
Okay, so we'd be looking at Jane and Anne Marie.
You're looking at Jane and Emily.
Yeah, okay,
Jane
if you
and
could check on
Marie.
that and see if they're
What
covered.
about Marie? Because Marie's handling the checkbooks and stuff like that.
I'm not touching money. I'm not touching money.
No,
So-
but you're in charge of the checkbooks, no?
Well, I sign checks, but I don't.
She's an officer, we have officers.
And I only
Well,
sign
are we-
checks if
We
it's
have
been
officers
signed by
insurance,
the
yes.
chief
I just want to make sure.
and signed by.
No, that's a good question.
Yeah, no.
You saw Marie's new Explorer right there.
That's
It's a 2007. I know it looks really good.
There's no Lamborghinis in the
I know
lot
it
unless
looks
they
good.
go London, John.
Dennis drives a Falcon.
No, I was not including anything, and speaking of checks, I do have another question, because now that we've been paid, we're no longer volunteering our time. On the check
That's
that,
not on our agenda today. That's not
Well,
part of our discussion today.
I need to know why there is not,
You can have that put on the next May 19th meeting agenda
No,
and
no,
discuss that.
Fred,
there is
yeah,
a discrepancy on the check with the address of Central Coventry Fire District. It does not have 240 Arnold Road on it. It has a person's address on it.
On the checks?
Yes,
On the AP checks that are going?
on the checks that you sent out, or that you signed,
Well, that's, is
For-
that,
That's the payroll.
That's the
because it
payroll
went through
company.
Payroll
payroll.
company.
It went
That's
through
the
the
payroll
payroll company. I didn't sign this.
that's the
either.
payroll company.
Or, right, it went through the payroll.
but you signed it.
No,
No.
you
It's a-
signed your
No,
own check.
no,
It's
that
a
goes
long-
through
No,
payroll
that,
company.
my signature's not on the payroll checks that go through.
I'm not saying payroll check, whatever you do.
You
Those are
got paid
payroll.
through
goes
payroll,
to
you got paid through payroll checks.
Payroll.
You've been added to payroll as an
Yeah,
employee.
that's why you have to give
I have
yourself.
to add Richard too, I have to get your W-4. I think I haven't got that yet.
And just to, it is, I remember we had this conversation, and I looked into it, and because they are budgeted, they were budgeted and the budget was approved. So the payments made to the board is an approved budget item. And it went through payroll, which is even better because it wasn't on a 1099, taxes were withheld.
It's the stipend, same as what it was before. And I actually, why I'm saying this is not to silence you. The reason I'm saying we'd like to bring this up, you know, we can do it the May 19th, the June meeting, because one of the things that I've been wanting to do, and I think we all need to do, is set this up going forward. What started in 2017, 2016, 17 should be. And so we can bring this all up at the same time, and I'll put it on the agenda, no problem. And then we can discuss what we want to do going forward and discuss what it is here, going back to when Jerry Bouchard and all the way through. So we can make that a full discussion and then set up a plan going forward. So I'm not trying to stifle it, but I think that would be a whole nother discussion, and I'd welcome it, because we do want to set up procedures.
Well, I mean, we need to be open and honest with
That's right.
taxpayers,
And that's
why I'm questioning that.
But that's why I'm saying that that would be a better agenda item, and
Okay.
we'll discuss the whole thing as part of the agenda item.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'd like to do it either May 19th or the June meeting, either one, but definitely before our September, I'd like to have a procedure in place for it. So the
Fifth?
May 19th meeting or the June meeting, either one will have it, depending on how much we have on our agenda, each meeting, so that we can then have a procedure going forward. I think that's the big thing we're trying to do, is set this up, this whole place, going forward, to have procedures in place.
Right.
Okay, so, great question.
And that brings me to my other question on the updating of the charter and the bylaws. I know you wanted it for April, we're in April, but this is not a regular meeting, so when do you want to do the bylaws and the adjustments that I've made?
I think that would
With Alan.
be, you know what would be good with that is we're gonna get through this, this second half budget meeting, which has been very busy. Probably be like a June meeting would be a good time. What do you think?
I think,
Because we got stuff, May's gonna be a hell month, it really is. But if we can do something in June, getting on those, because there's a few things we do want to set up going forward. I know we all have our own opinions of things that we want to see on it. So we can get what your recommendations are, discuss those, make that the main item on the agenda. So I'd say June would be a good
All right.
meeting for that. Because we're going to have that to put it in for the September meeting, so it can be done as soon as so it's got to be done soon.
Well, that's what I'm figuring, because you need approval at the September meeting from the taxpayers if they agree or don't agree with the changes.
Yeah.
And then it has to go to the legislature,
Correct.
which won't get in until
January.
January, unless somebody pre-files early.
Yeah, we're not going to have those. Okay, so that brings us to, the relocation of hours, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 9 to 4. That's temporary, and then we will be looking at other hour changes as we progress here, but this is a temporary change. And we're also looking to move the office June 1st? June 1st to 240 Arnold Road, so we're going to want to do that. And the third item under number 2 is the appointment of Jessica Finneran as the acting tax collector. Given she has had experience as tax collector in Shrewsbury,
the town of Ipswich.
Ipswich,
Crans Beach,
Connecticut,
Maine, Mass.
Massachusetts.
Yes, so she does have experience in this regard.
But I thought we just hired her for the administrative clerk.
And that's why we're adding duties. These are additional duties in the title, so the charter does say we have to have a tax collector, and she will be the tax collector and doing other duties. We figured, she's very flexible and she better be.
Yeah, well, I don't want to see her get overloaded and then she leaves. So, I mean,
She's with Gail. This is Gail's, by the way, this is Gail's recommendation, so I'm going to defer to you on this, Gail, please.
So as you might know, we are in the midst of preparing for a tax sale. We started with 630 properties, and as of yesterday at 12, we had, I believe, 221 left, so there's been a lot of movement. One of the biggest things is once the former tax collector left, we just can't sit by and have things happen. So Jessica has actually been acting tax collector since the day that, the 15th. So this formalizes that. When you have notices in the paper, you have to name somebody as acting or as tax collector. And the thought was to have Jessica do this because instead of myself as acting tax collector, because there would be some checks and balances.
Okay.
So there's some oversight. So she, if you notice, she spends about half her time, especially on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. She spends half her time in the tax collection office. We have been working through on a daily basis just different issues that come up from taxpayers, whether it could be something that's, does a mobile home belong on the tax sale roll, and the answer is no. So we have to change that. If the town had done an abatement on the property, how does it affect us? So there's a lot of technical issues that we've been working on this week to make sure that we get them resolved, because the 21-day notices are going out on May 6th. Then we'll have a 14-day notice and a 7-day notice, and then the day of notice. And I believe the tax sale is scheduled for May 27th. So we don't want to, tax sales are very important. Again, collection of tax money is integral to the operations of this district. And we don't want to miss a beat on this, and so far we have not.
Okay.
That has been a lot with Jessica and myself, and also with Jane and Anne Marie have been just fantastic during this time. So again, we've already started working together, and when we move up on June 1st, it will be even a better team atmosphere.
Jane and Anne Marie picked up some hours to assist,
Oh, okay.
so that's how they're.
They jumped right in, both of them. I called Anne Marie as soon as, that day when Pam walked out or quit or whatever. She was ready to step right up, and she worked with Jane, and Gail was out at the time, and they made sure every hour was covered.
Okay.
But Jane likes to come in early. Jane likes to come in early.
Jane is an early bird. Yeah.
So they worked it out, the two of them, and then when Gail got back, she got right on it, so. And Jessica jumped in too that week, so. Jessica
Yes, I know
worked
she
out,
did.
so
So
everything worked
the
out.
second thing besides the tax sale is obviously when these tax notices come out, some people might want to pay right away, just because that's what they want to do, and we want to make sure that we will be open and available and to take these payments in the next month.
All right, I would hope we are giving them extra time because of the delay in getting the tax bills out to them. We did that
Yeah, we
the
always
last
do.
time, so I
That's
just want to make sure that everybody's
That's
on
not
board
bad.
with doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what we do that. Okay, so that's item number 2. I'd like to have a motion to accept the item 2, the change in hours, relocation of tax office, and the appointment of Jessica Finneran as acting tax collector. I have a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion that.
Marie makes a motion. Richard Pacelli seconds. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so that's done. Tax code, I think I did 1, 2, 3. Okay, number 4, selection of rescue recovery third-party billing services RFP. Yep.
So after, I believe the last, or one of the last board meetings, where it was voted on to issue an RFP for tax collection services. We actually did issue the RFP for tax collection services. We currently have the Dawson Group, and this is not tax collection services, this is not in my brain, this is
Revenue recovery.
yeah, rescue recovery third-party billing services. So we issued the RFP, it went out for 2 weeks. It was due on April 8th at 10 a.m. We received 3 respondents, 3 companies. The first one is Dawson Group, the current provider. The second one was Comstar. It's also another local provider. And the third one is New England Medical Billing. The third one is primarily in Massachusetts. So those are the 3 proposals that we got. I met with the chief, Chief and I met, went over the proposals. Chief prepared a